Well, it's Saturday. I don't know if that makes a difference to you or not. If you've been working during the week, you've probably got the day off. If, like so many, you're not working these days, it's just another day. But at least it's not raining. You can get out and do that yard work your wife wants you to do. Sorry about that. But it is Saturday of Holy Week. And if you were there as a disciple of Jesus for the first Saturday, it's an awful day. It's an awful day. Yesterday, a day that will come to be called Good Friday by future believers, was mind-numbingly horrific. Jesus is dead, killed in the most unjust, brutally imaginable way. He was dead. The whipping, the nails, the thorns, and finally the spear. And all of that blood. Dead and already buried in a tomb that wasn't meant for him. No funeral, no public time of mourning, no honor at all. While yesterday was truly a horror, today carried its own cruel and unrelenting pain. The numbness brought on by yesterday's brutality had worn off. A sleepless night had given way to a gray dawn and a fresh wave of despair. Peter, of all the disciples, was a mess of emotions. After all, he had denied Jesus in his hour of need. How could he have done that? Perhaps it was just as well. After all, Jesus obviously wasn't the one he had thought he was. But the miracles, the glory they saw on the mountain, and he had even walked on water, at least for a little while. He'd been so sure that Jesus was the one. He had even blurted out, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." What a fool he had been. He was a fisherman. And he would never trust himself to do anything else again. John was crushed. He knew, he had been convinced. He was more sure about Jesus than about anything else in his life. Oh, how he had loved him. He even rested his head on Jesus' chest and heard his heart beat. And his mother. How could he ever comfort Jesus' mother? She had been through so much, and now to have it end like this. But now it had all come to nothing. All of their hopes, all their dreams, all their expectations had died with Jesus on the cross. It was truly over. While the disciples mourned, feared, and tried not to be noticed, others engaged in vain imaginations and useless tasks. The Jewish priests and religious leaders vainly thought that a major problem had been solved. It had been messy in so many ways, and it had caused a great public disturbance. But surely things would calm over time. The real problem was gone. That false prophet, that disturber of Israel, Jesus of Nazareth, was no more. Soon enough, things would get back to the way they were, and this whole Messiah mess will have just been a ripple. Others, priests and those who tended the temple, were both perplexed and a bit overwhelmed at their assigned task. Yesterday, in the middle of the afternoon, at right about 3 o'clock, although it could hardly be called afternoon because of the strange and deep darkness that had fallen, yesterday the curtain that separated the holy place from the Holy of Holies had been torn completely in half. How did that happen? The priests and workers didn't have a clue. No one had seen. No evidence was left as to the criminal who did this terrible thing. Most mysteriously, the curtain appeared to have been torn from top to bottom. Who could have done such a thing, and why? The work crew labored as quickly as possible. They were under significant pressure to fix things, and the temple had been closed until their job was complete. After all, it certainly wasn't appropriate to have anyone but the high priest thinking that they could have access to the presence of God. Not all that far away, among the tombs, the Roman guards wondered at the orders they had been given. Seal the tomb of the criminal as best you know how, and be sure no one steals his body. Dumb. But an order is an order, and this order came from the top, from Pontius Pilate himself. So, as silly as this job seemed, that body wasn't going anywhere. They were sure of it. Amen. And God bless you.